Good night.
So
look at that.
heavy.
It's bigger than his head. Morning, gardeners. I hope everybody's having a good day. And it's a big day for the homestead. As you see, I got my, what are you, big guns or medium guns?
Medium guns.
Here are my medium guns. I got the medium guns out today, and we are going to harvest our sweet potatoes. This is it. This is all of our winter food. You ready?
Yeah.
How many are we gonna get? We got 30 plants in there. How many sweet potatoes do you think we're gonna get?
235.
I wish I lived in his world.
Forget our fear of what comes after.
All right, David, get the wagon and see if you can find my hand pruners. I'm gonna look for them too, because we're gonna need those for sure.
Your printers?
Yeah, my hand pruners.
Where's the wagon?
I don't know, you gotta find the wagon. It's wherever we left it last. Not the wheelbarrow, that's broke.
Oh.
Of course the wheelbarrow is broke. Which, by the way, have you guys seen the price of wheelbarrows? It's crazy. So, here it is. This is it. We're gonna harvest this today, and it's time to move on. So we're gonna end this glorious image that I really do really enjoy it, where we have the sweet potatoes and the black eyed peas. We haven't watered them for like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, except for the rain. And we need to get the soil primed for the next watering, or the next planting, which is gonna be the broccoli. We got a helicopter flyby, but we've got broccoli going in, and it needs to go in like stat. So the situation is, we were gonna wait a couple days, but we didn't get any rain last night like we were supposed to. Everybody else got rain around us. I was even in another town and they got rain, but here we didn't get any. So we're gonna let it, it's dry, it's good. The potatoes they shouldn't be as moist skinned, so we can't damage them as easily. And then we're gonna pull them because we're supposed to get rain tonight. Now I'll believe it when I see it, because this has been the ongoing thing. So we want to go ahead and get in there. I want to get them out. I want to prime the soil with water, just get the nutrients in it, and then we're probably going to turn around and plant it either this afternoon or tomorrow. I'm just going to put all broccoli into this bed. It needs to go in there bad, and we're going to set up another sunshade to go, because yesterday was 96 degrees. Today it is 87. So we have a little bit of a reprieve, which, believe it or not, 10 degrees makes a huge difference. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit cooler, and then it's going to go back up in the 90s. So we're going to take advantage of that to get these broccolis and stuff into the ground. So we're just kind of working around the schedule. But yeah, let's get started. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put the sweet potatoes in the wagon, but we've got two kinds of sweet potatoes. So we're going to start in the back, and there's 2 rows. When we get in there, we should start to see them. So the back row is for sweet potato pies. Those are Beauregards. We got to keep them separate, okay? So let's start in the back row, see how it goes, and then we'll make a pile. Let's make a pile in the shade right here of the Beauregards.
Okay, which are the ones we're using for sweet potato pie?
Yeah, those are the ones we're using for sweet potato pie. And then we're going to work our way forward. And then we're also going to take our vines and we're just going to lay them out here. Right out here in the yard, because I want to get to where I can know what to give the chickens and what to put in for the compost. Okay?
Times like these, they come and go, so let this feeling grow. Finally see what we've always known, so let this feeling grow.
So far, that's the first row, and then come back over here, just getting all these out, all the vines, and then we'll start digging. So I will say that it is going a lot better than I had hoped. I don't remember if you have seen the video from last year, or I don't know if you have, but last year's harvest didn't go as well. We tried a different bed, and we tried some different techniques here, and let's just say last year was super embarrassing to pull out that little amount of potatoes, but so far we're doing better. So we'll see what else we get, and then I'll tell you kind of what we did different this year, and maybe how the plan's going to be moving forward. Who knows? All right, we did our harvest, and we've come up with a couple categories for potatoes, sweet potatoes. So last year I came up with a date night potato, but we've gone past that this year. So we have our single potato, just regular dinner. We have our, hold that up, our date night potato. Pretty big potato, you know, 2 people can eat it. Then we have, hold this one, our family night potato. So, you know, that could feed a whole family theoretically. But what we really have here is we have our feast potato. Pick this guy up. Did you do your stretches?
No.
No? Okay, well, you might want to stretch your biceps out. Never mind, just pick it up.
Okay. It's
Good night.
It's so
Look at that.
heavy.
It's bigger than his head. And let me tell you, my boy got a big head just like his papa. Hello? Yeah, that's the biggest tater we ever grew, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is Thanksgiving feast tater. This is a Georgia Jet, so what'd you think about that?
Like whenever we pulled it up,
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool because at first I thought it was just gonna be half, and then I saw the other half and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna break in half and it didn't. And we actually timed this out just right because it didn't split. We've gotten stuff close to this, but it had split, and we didn't even scar it when we pulled it out. So we did really, really good with this guy. So yeah, hello? Yeah, I'm a feast potato. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a lot of fun. You like pulling up sweet taters?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how easy is it? We put them in the ground and then we walked away and that was it.
Yep.
That's it. So let's look at how many we got and then the different varieties, and then we can kind of do our little analytical part of it. And by the way, it is 1 full hat hot. 1 full hat sweat hot. So there is that. So I'm gonna get some water and then we're gonna analyze the Georgia Jets and the Beauregards. And I can tell you that there's something a little tricky about the Beauregards. It's the end of that bed. Finally, I can put my broccoli in, and all I gotta do is just stress about it burning up. So there is that. Here's our 2 piles here, and when you combine them, pretty happy with the situation. This is the Georgia Jets, and this is the Beauregards. So I wanna look at the Beauregards real quick. Couple things. One, somebody told me a couple years ago that you can't buy 6 packs of them because they won't produce. Well, these were 6 packs and clearly they produce, but there's always a big but, right? You see what kind of happens because they were kind of root bound within them. So every single one of them came up in clumps and we ended up breaking a lot of them apart, but that was kind of issue. So I think this was the first one we pulled up. That kind of looks like a turd, like a doo-doo emoji. So we'll have to keep that in mind for next year. But yeah, it is what it is. Now I don't really care because like I said, these are for sweet potato pies, so I don't care what they look like. I mean, you can eat them normal, but this is what we really wanted to get them for. They have a better texture for it, so whatever, it is what it is. These were the Georgia Jets. So the Georgia Jets, we started these from slips we had last year, and we actually had a really hard time getting them going, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. And when you look at it, it's not a surprisingly large amount, but when we start looking at the taters, they're actually bigger than the other ones. So let's just say like this one, for instance, if we did just break this up, this would feed like 4 or 5 people as a side dish. So, you know, we have a family of 3, you know, that my wife and my son would eat that. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I eat a whole sweet potato, but you know, this could be easily 3 of us, you know, for a small side dish. So we actually do have a fair amount out of here. And like I said, some of them that I put in, they didn't even hardly have any roots. I just kind of put them in the ground. But based on the size of some of the bigger ones, I do believe we harvested at the right time, and I'm glad we didn't wait. I was gonna wait about another month, and I'm glad I didn't do that. We would have definitely had stuff like this would have been bigger, but at the same time, it is what it is, because honestly, it's fun to harvest stuff like this. You know, these big ones are just so much fun to harvest. So yeah, the Georgia Jets, they're really good. They're moist. They're known to be fast growers, and if we would have had better slips to start with, which was kind of my fault, we would have been in a lot better position. So my number one question always is, was it worth the grow? We spent on sweet potatoes this year to grow them. Because we did the Beauregards, we spent $10 on those 6-pack. So $10 worth of slips, probably another $2 worth of fertilizer. So we're $12 in, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, this pile right here in itself is like $20 to $30 worth of sweet potatoes. Roughly, they're really expensive. And then the other pile just adds onto it. So we 100% made our money back, way more than we needed to. So we did really good on that part. If we would have just done all of our own slips, 100% profit. You know, you're talking negligible. Not to mention if you put in the energy output that it took in order to grow this, so minimal. I mean, we plant them, we fertilize them. I came back before the vines filled the bed, I gave them another dose of fertilizer, and then we walked away. And that was it. We didn't have to weed it. We didn't have to do anything to take care of it. We watched it, and we enjoyed watching them grow, and the vines taking over and spilling out of the bed. We just, all around, it was a joy to grow them this year, which is a definite plus, because last year was not a joy. So moving forward, we're definitely going to keep the 2 years in perspective and kind of just work it that way, and hopefully we can keep it moving in the right direction. So the other thing is we've planted them differently in the fact that we planted a lot more plants. So typically what I would do is I'd put about 10 slips in the bed, and this year I put 1 slip every foot for equivalent of 28. So I put about 28 to 25 slips in there, and I may have overcrowded it just a bit. So I think next year we're going to kind of tone it down a little bit and give them more, but that just kind of dictates the size. I mean, if you look at the Georgia Jets, like potatoes like this, we'll probably get a lot of these if we do fewer or more slips. So if we did about the same, we'd get a lot of these. And if we did, I'm not gonna go crazy, but if we did less slips, we'd probably get a lot more of these, which I don't really care. I don't care if I get big potatoes. I don't care if I get small taters. The sweet potatoes are just, they're what they are. I let them do what they want to do, and I harvest what I can harvest and enjoy them, and they're delicious. So those are the things that we did different. Now the other thing we did different is we switched to in-ground watering through a drip system, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous about that. I was nervous because the water would just be hitting the taters all the time, and we had kept a rigorous watering schedule. I have nothing rotted here. I have not seen a single rotten tomato. I didn't pull one out. Last year I pulled a couple out of that bed. Now we did, and the other thing is we actually went and did what we were supposed to do, and we cut off our water beforehand, and that made harvesting them so much easier. The ground was softer. The taters actually had their skins a little bit tougher, so when you like brush up on them, you don't actually rip the skin, and that makes a huge difference in all of this. So I think we're going to keep doing that moving forward. What I would like to do next year is I think I would like to give it an extra dose of fertilizer, because if you think about it, we give it a pre-planting fertilizer, then we come back a month later and we give it. And I think what I'd like to do next time is give it one more shot, even if it's just a couple weeks, because then we're not going to really be doing anything else, and just let them do their grow from there. And I think that will just give us a little bit more of a boost. We had a fair amount of vines, so we were plenty happy with that, no issues. More vines typically in my mind means more sweet potatoes, because you have bigger greenery, which gives nutrition to the plant and, you know, all that good stuff. So I think moving forward we're going to keep that schedule, but this is part of the thing where we kind of change and tweak what we do each and every year. So 2023 potato harvest is complete. Next year we'll probably do the Georgia Jets again, depending on how we enjoy them for this winter. May or may not do the Beauregards, but we're definitely going to try and get some Carolina Ruby slips, and we're probably going to continue to do multi plantings of them, multi-variety plantings, just to kind of test them out. But these will be our true and tried method. This is our 3rd year using our own slip, so we're getting to where we're self-sustainable as far as our slips go. If we can get some slips off these, great, and if not, fine. It is what it is. But yep, 2023 is in the books, and now we can plan for 2024.
Goodbye.